So, attendees, we move on to our next panel. The panel moderator, Ms. Sarah Sal, Facebook ad specialist at Hootsuite. Hi, Sarah. All right, and we welcome our panelist, Mr. Libor Peric, Facebook advertising expert with OptiWeb.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I'm having a problem with starting my video because now it's better.
Am I getting your name right, Libor?
It is Ljubomir, but you can call me Ljuba.
Okay.
Ljuba.
Okay.
All right, and we also expect our next panelist, Madeline Hart, will be joining us soon. She's vice president with GroupeConnect. All right. So, attendees, the topic is ad rescue, saving marketers from creating bad social media ads. So, over to you, Sarah.
Hey, so I'm the panelist, but I have nothing to present. So I'm going to introduce Jube, who's a Facebook ad specialist at Optimedia. Do you have any slides that you want to use to get started?
No, I have notes that will lead me through this presentation, and yeah, so that is everything.
Okay. What do you think are the top 5 mistakes? I'll let you start.
Okay, so as I told you on LinkedIn, what I found are the 5 main, let's say, mistakes that are people making that lead them to make bad social media ads. And the first of them is definitely not understanding their audience, but not in the way of cliche when you're reading some blogs and they're saying that they do not understand audience. They understand who their audience is, but they're not investing their time and energy in understanding their deepest desires, wishes, motivations. So they're basically just scratching the surface. So I want to give like 5 main approaches that I'm using while I'm doing this thing. So first is definitely creating a customer persona based on, so as I said, wishes, fears, motivations. So the example that I want to give here is, so why people are buying Gucci shirts, why they do not buy ordinary shirts, because in deepest inside them, they want to present themselves in front of their friends, in people, in a certain way, So that can be translated into whatever product we sell or whatever conversion we want to achieve. So yeah, we really need to pay attention on that. Next thing are Amazon comments. So as we call them, so Amazon meaning, and this is really gold, because you have the good comments, the okay comments, and the bad comments. So reading the good comments, what really means to people. So if you are selling some kind of shampoo, let's say, you see in the good comments that they're constantly mentioning that it smells good. So that is really good sign for us that we should communicate that in our video, static photo content, or ad copy, or whatever. And on the other hand, you have bad comments. You can find what the main problems of your product are. You can that can help you with the product development. Also, you can read on what things are complaining on your competitors' products, and you can address that in your ad copy. Next thing are Facebook, Instagram groups, pages, or whatever. So people are going through this very quickly, but again, this is really gold, because if you are spending your time on social media, on those groups or pages, you can see what kind of content people are engaged with, what kind of content they share, and that is really good content. That is really good sign and trace which you should follow, to where you are creating your content, definitely. And that leads me to the fourth element, that is social media comments. So why that? Because by reading the comments on social media, you can really good understand your audience language, their voice and tone, but also you can find out certain keywords that they're mentioning, their phrase that they're talking. So it is really good to use those keywords in your ad copy or video script because you will match with your audience, and that is what we want. And the last thing, but not least, is Facebook ad library in two ways. So we are going to Facebook ad library. We can obviously see what our competitors are doing, but also what big players are doing, because if big players are putting some elements in the video, there is strong reason for doing that, obviously. But also what we can do is that we can click on each ad, we will be redirected to product page or landing page, and then we can investigate what content they have on the landing page or product description, what they presented first on that landing page, what they put it on the bottom, and that will give us good understanding on what we should mention. Second thing is not testing different type of content. So I'm not talking about here like testing static videos or videos or static images. No, it is more like forms of content. Let's say like video content. So when it comes to the video contents, we have, for example, spokesperson, we have user-generated content, we have animated videos, product demonstration, let's say testimonials. And what we need to do is to test and to see what works. For example, if we are selling some kind of the medical product, maybe spokesperson video where the doctor, which is wearing the, the doctor's, how to say, uniform, let's say like that, is talking about our product, how good is it, how tested it is, and of course giving the recommendation for it. And maybe the content in which woman is telling the real time testimonial about how our medical product is the best on the market and whatever will work. But if we put out in front of our audience some kind of animated video that is more like a how they say, humoristic, in this kind of product, I don't think so. So definitely try different angles, try different forms of both videos, also ad copy, and that really gives the best results. Next thing is not testing different type of video structures, ad copy structures, and not basing our content on proven flows, let's say like that. So you need to have a good structure in your video and ad copy material if you want to keep your users' attention, all the time. So best way to do that is to have a conversion-based architecture of your content. And there are many of those structures out there, but I prepared like 5 main structures that I'm using and that I love to use, both in the video, both also in the ad copy. So first is the classic. So it starts with the hook, definitely attention grabbing part. Then second part is introduction and the problem. Then that follows our product or service demonstration, and then call to action. So we can see how it is structured. We know what are we doing. We know in what phases we are leading our users, and it is natural. So next one, which I really like, and it is made by Ezra Firestone. It is Love Demo Love. So it starts with the customer testimonials, then it switches to the product demonstration, and it ends with more customer testimonials, which is another love with call to action. And this is really good, and we can see a lot of those kind of ads, so especially for drop shipping products, where we need to demonstrate and tell to people what is actually about. Also very good structure is what it does, who is for, and call to action. So I think this is understandable. And we have also one of my favorite, it is before, after, and bridge. So before, we are explaining to the user, here is your word, here is the situation in which you are, those are the problems that you have. Then after, so it is like, imagine what would be like if you have that problem solved. And bridge, here is how to cross that bridge, here is how to come to the solving that problem, and that is definitely our product. The last one is picture, promise, prove, and push. So we need in the first part, so paint a picture that gets attention and create desire in user. Then we have promise. We should describe how our product or service can help them overcome that problem. We have proof. We are providing the support for our promises. We are putting like customer testimonials and whatever. And after that, we are asking a reader to commit or viewer to commit and do certain action. Fourth mistake is not incorporating some of the proven elements. So when you are spending a lot of time like I do in watching social media ads and trying to find what is working, you can find a certain patterns, but not just patterns, but also some kind of the elements and the nature of the videos that is just working, and that is seeable in a lot of ads. So I've pull out here like 10 main elements that are obviously really good if we incorporate them in our ads. So first is surprise, very good in intro. It keeps it keeps user attention. So very good, and that is my recommendation. But also humor, because with humor you are strongly evoking users' emotion and building a really good relationship, because it is happy with you watching your ad, and you build some kind of bond with it. So next one is user-generated content. We all know that. Then we have founder passion. It is really good way of making connection between CEO or the company and the user, because we are showing we are showing the man behind our company. So we are not just company which is business, but we are humans like our users are, and that really gives a good results. Also on the branding also can be very good on performance-based campaigns. Highly energetic videos, like some videos like I am now so full of energy and just to keep user attention. Bold statement as intros. So imagine like woman is telling very bold statement in the beginning of the video, and you just stop and want to watch what next she will say. So it's really good for intros. Then we have questions for intros, colorful images, animated types of ads, my really one of my favorite. And after that, testimonials. And my last element last thing that I would like to point here, and this
hey,
is
Madeline.
really hi. This is really long title. It is like not having in mind a purchase funnel and not matching a type of information and a way of communication with the phase of buying process in which user is. So we can witness that all of time. So people are just putting a way of communication or some kind of information in the bottom of the funnel that they should put in the top of the funnel, and where they're educating their users. So imagine like we are selling high ticket products. It's like an innovational product, medical type of the product. So what we need to use in top of the funnel, we need to use video content, because it is easier way for our users to consume that product, that type of how do I say, material. But also it is much easier for us to tell a lot of information in, let's say, 1 minute of the video. Okay, so that is our goal in the top of the funnel, to explain our product. But then the question is, if we are remarketing people, so from our website, what type of the content we should do? What I can see in many of ads, that they're basically repeating the same content. I mean, the content is different, but they're repeating the type of the content. They're putting the educational videos in the bottom of the funnel remarketing, and after all of explanation, they're mentioned like you have 10% of discount or whatever. So it is not good. If you need to explain your product again to your audience in the top of the funnel, which added to cart or viewed the product page or whatever, that means that you did not did a good job in the top of the funnel content. Bottom of the funnel should be strongly communicate discounts, those kind of information. So explanation of the product should be in the top of the funnel and middle of the funnel, and that is very important to know, because if we ask someone to watch like 2 to 3 videos of 1 to 2 minutes, it is stupid to ask them again for that kind of the commitment, because we all know how hard is to do that. So
okay, I'll interrupt you for 1 minute. I'll add 2-3 comments, and then I'll pass the microphone to Madeline, just to make sure you both get equal time speaking. So you said testing different type of content. I get the question a lot. Does video work better than image? Does interest targeting work better than lookalike? And I'm like, mustard or chocolate sauce? You want to add mustard in your morning cereal? Do you want to add chocolate into your hot dog? I'm like,
perfect metaphor.
Please test everything before making assumption. The other thing, something doesn't work. People will try 100 image, 100 headline. Do I start with a question mark or not? And I'm like, imagine I'm London Tourism Board. You cannot say party in London, party 24/7, party till 5 in the morning, because the person who's 60-year-old in a wheelchair, who fall asleep at 9 p.m. couldn't care less. So tell them about the food, the gastronomy, then the architecture, the museum, etc. So you want to find different angles. And the other thing is about bad comment. You talked about bad comment. Many business owners, they look at the negative comment and like, those ungrateful bastards, we're making them a service, educating them, and they don't want our product, and they don't take the feedback that, hey, maybe the way you present your ad is too pushy. Take the feedback to improve it. And the other thing is about scratching the surface. Everyone is like, people must love this. There's 2 billion users, just find me the user. And you have no idea what's in people's head. I give you an example. A client sell language courses, and he assumed everyone want to be fluent in Spanish. He sent a survey. Some people said, I couldn't care less about being fluent. If I'm British or American in Mexico or Spain, I want to order coffee. I don't want to understand political debate on TV. He made like 5 times more sales. But he found that the problem number 1 is everyone speaks so fast and they cannot understand the native speaker. So having the landing page, the ad, etc., targeting that problem got him the most sale ever. And he could have tried 100 audience, 100 bid, etc. It would not have worked.
Exactly.
Because he was trying to target the wrong problem. Now I pass the microphone to Madeline, so she has enough time to speak.
Thank you, Sarah. And sorry it's a little bit late, but I think the dominant theme of what you're both saying, or a couple of themes here, is really starting with your audience and who do you want to talk to. And Sarah, you said it too, like knowing that your audience, they're, no offense, they're not thinking about you. They're thinking about their day. They're thinking about the information they need that's important to them and important to the things to get through their life. So how can you inform them in the simplest way, or drive them in the simplest way to do what they need to do, to help your business, but also to help them grow? I think the other thing that I was thinking about as you were talking is really having a true purpose. So I think you both said, do you want to, should I post with an exclamation point, a question mark, what's your purpose in posting, right? And what are you bringing to people? And I think when you hone in on that purpose, then you know exactly what you should be posting. And maybe it is a video because you want to drive awareness. Or maybe it is a static image and you want to drive people to a website to learn more. I think there's a lot of really great resources online, not that all of you have the time to be digging into these things, but that really help kind of point you in the right direction. I've worked at ad agencies for 10 years, and I would say like 50% of my job is Googleable. We are here all practitioners in digital media, and it's our jobs. But even I think like 20 minutes spent Googling, you will find yourself learning so many things that you didn't know before.
Yeah.
What's each person's greatest mistake, since we're talking about mistakes?
Oh.
Or one of the top, not the great, it's okay. I mean,
So like a mistake in a career?
No, not Facebook ads. I mean,
in social
Facebook
media.
ads.
In social
Okay.
media, I mean, if you were working in a restaurant and you thought opening a British restaurant in France is what everyone wants, we don't care about that. Social media ads.
Because we are talking about mistakes, I will let ladies first. So Madeline.
Oh, sure. I mean, I'll own my mistakes. I think in social media, you're always one kind of screenshot away from infamy. So there's like a little bit of pressure there when you're thinking about your mistakes. I would say professional mistakes. I did a sweepstakes one time for a particular brand where we sold appliances, and the sweepstakes was like a pre-recorded video of a dish being washed in a dishwasher to prove how good our dishwasher was. And on the pan, it showed kind of like a question, and then people were supposed to like guess what the answer was. And we thought, oh, this will be great for like, people will really watch this, and it's going to take people a long time to guess. Our clients were super excited about it, and we kind of hyped it up probably too much. People were able to guess the answer in about 15 seconds. So I would say that it was kind of a planning error on our part. And then I'm trying to think of like a personal mistake on social media. And I can't really think of one, except that I do have a Twitter account and I've never tweeted, which as a social media professional, I think it's probably a downfall. But it's something that's on kind of my personal to-do. Hopefully that's helpful.
I pass you the microphone.
Okay, so it's a funny thing because I got the same question a few days ago. So yeah, same answer. When it comes to the social media ads, let's say like that. So I took one client, and his website was awful, not conversion optimized and everything. And my biggest mistake is starting advertising on that website because results obviously was really, really bad. And really good learning, and what we all know that at the end of the day you can create however you want good Facebook ads or whatever, but if your website isn't optimized, at the end of the day Facebook is only traffic source. If your website isn't optimized, your Facebook results will be bad too.
My biggest mistake is working on rented audiences, because you spend money building your audience, getting fans. And maybe 5 years ago, I would pay like $50 to reach 1,000 people. And now it's getting more and more expensive that sometimes I'm questioning retargeting. But because it's on a borrowed audience, you're going to spend a lot of time and money. And on Facebook, for some stupid mistake, they're going to ban you. And not because you're telling people, I give you example. I have a client, she sells Photoshop templates. Facebook, warning, to run political ad, you need to be verified. I had enough that I went to the Facebook chat. I'm like, I just want to understand the political system in your country. Do politicians during election talk about Photoshop? I had cases where things from adrenal fatigue to learning language to medical condition, Facebook say, oh, we banned it because it's political. You shout with Facebook, you say, this is about health, this is about supplement, this is about being healthy, about not having too much stress hormone in your body. On Facebook, we're protecting democracy. That's the end of the discussion. Well, anybody who built an email list, email is free, but you own it forever. Well, Facebook for a random algorithm is, well, during COVID, we're not going to get back to you because our support employee are doing lung transplant and saving people's lives. So that's my biggest mistake.
Definitely. Do you guys having problems with banned accounts lately? Definitely, yeah. I got like in 2 days, last 2 days, I got 2 banned accounts, and the first account that got banned like was activated this morning, and like after 2 hours get banned again. So it is obviously they do not want many of advertisers as they wanted before.
Here is a fun fact. Here's a fun fact. Let me ask a question. Is MLM allowed on Facebook or not?
Wait, can you repeat the question?
Is network marketing or multi-level marketing allowed or not?
No.
Okay, let me ask the question differently. If you spent $1 million on ad in 1 year, is it allowed or not? Oh God. I took out my.
That's okay. No, I mean, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
It's allowed. Because hey, I wouldn't run those ads, but there are companies that tell me, can you do consulting for us? And I say, can you give me access to the ad account? And I have Facebook contact me personally on my phone number to say, we're giving you concierge service, anything you need. And it's network marketing account.
Interesting.
Oh my God.
And there was an article on BuzzFeed where they talked to some previous ad reviewer. It's not people with normal salary privilege as Facebook engineers. They are contractors, they're overworked, underpaid, and they often tell, if there is a scam, if it earns us a lot of money, let us go. We don't care. Don't ban something that makes us money.
Yeah.
So if you spend $10 per day or $100 per day, then you're going to be banned. If you spend 10,000, don't look the other way.
I mean, I think you made a good point, Sarah, that, and, you know, both of you, I think, have said that you can always chat kind of the Facebook support too. So I think if you're new, creating content or new to social media, the Facebook support, I mean, they get back to you pretty quickly. I'd say, you know, like in holiday, times, maybe less, but that is an advantage. But I would say that the policies are changing all the time on Facebook. It's really hard to keep up with everything.
Yeah.
And theoretically, their intent is for good, but it's obviously debatable.
Yeah. I think the issue is not the policy, because if you run an ad in a niche, you should know what is the policy. I think they pushed automation to a maximum. And since they are a monopoly, there are not many websites with 2 billion users. They could basically have really bad support, and they're like, we still make enough money, we don't care.
Yeah. Because we got one account blocked, and like the answer was like algorithm made mistake basically, and that is it. We didn't have the ability to like have active ads for 24 hours, and the answer was only that the algorithm made mistake and they relaunched our account. But yeah, in that situation, you know that it is like thievery, but it is, you're happy because you know that your whole business manager could be banned. And
yeah, I think
like
talking about mistake, a big mistake is some businesses live and die by paid traffic, including Facebook, that if tomorrow they're going hacked or banned, maybe their sale dropped by 90%. And I think people look at Facebook as a box that it lives on its own, and it's part of an ecosystem. If you have good blog posts, if you have good podcasts, good YouTube channel, good email marketing, good content, and Facebook is only one point that amplify everything else, or everything amplify itself mutually. If you get banned, it's not the end of the day, because everything else, the raw aren't duck. Maybe you lose some of the amplification, but you don't go from 0 to 0. And that, I think, is a big mistake of traffic, sale page, traffic, landing page, and you don't have a mechanism in content that basically make people go and follow you nonstop for a long time. That's a huge mistake, I think.
That is something that Carl May was talking about from I think it's a Black Box Media, his agency. It is like that Facebook, it should be only amplification, and it will become now like amplification. And also in the last Ad World Conference, Ezra Firestone gave a good example, something that I really like to use. It's he called them like a pre-sale landing pages. So let's educate first the users. Let's move them through the informational funnel, and after that, let's show to the people our product as as a solution. But definitely no add product page. And I'm not telling that we should stop with that, but we should have the alternative approaches as well.
Yeah, Facebook's definitely not the only thing in the ecosystem. So it's good to think about other social media platforms. But yeah, you had a great point about podcasts too, like thinking even outside of social media as ways to drive traffic to your page. It's a great way to really keep your business going or your presence, your personal presence.
I found Google Ads not bad because when Facebook banned me, I found on Google, you don't want to bid on buy a really book a hotel in London because that would be very expensive. But there is a lot of people who would Google how to write Facebook ad. Is organic reach dead or not? And those, you get 20-cent click that are very relevant because you're showing person an ad the same second they're thinking about the problem. And Facebook, yeah, it could generate a lot of traffic. It's good for generating awareness. It's good for creating the desire, but you cannot match an ad to the exact problem going into people's head.
Yeah.
I mean, on the ban, I'll tell you what happened. It's no one on Facebook will tell me why. They would never reply to me. But I made an article on my blog post because with iOS 14, Facebook was buying first page newspaper ads saying Apple is the evil, they hate businesses, they want to eat babies alive. And I made a blog post. I said, no, what happened is Facebook had a monopoly. It used to be if you want to advertise on mobile by age, by gender, by location, you are not able outside of Facebook. I mean, there was Grindr, but most people don't want to advertise on an adult website where people are looking for a hookup. And the fact that Steve Jobs said, no, you cannot share data between apps. It meant Facebook had the most apps, so they had a monopoly. And I wrote a blog post where I basically quoted an ex-employee of Facebook saying, no, Facebook doesn't care about small businesses. They care about their monopoly. Maybe Facebook CEO will not be worth 80 billion. He might be worth 20 billion, but it's about their monopoly. And 5 minutes after I wrote the blog post, my fan page got banned.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Their algorithm is so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same if you go on YouTube. I know people who made a video about YouTube bans, never published it, kept it private, and got his account disabled immediately. So it seemed like you have free speech, but don't criticize the media you're in. It's like if you're living on LinkedIn or on Twitter, don't talk badly about Twitter on Twitter, or you would get banned, basically.
Yeah. The fun thing that happened to me yesterday is that I was talking with my colleagues that definitely Apple is preparing for us a advertising platform, and that maybe in a near future they will see me Apple ad specialist. And the funny thing is that I when I went home, I was on Instagram, and the ad for a Apple ads course hit me right away, and I was like, oh my God. On one way, I'm happy because they're still working, but on other hand, I'm not happy because I'm see in what how they say way our industry is going.
Yeah. By the way, Apple recruited the ad targeting product manager on Facebook, and now he works for Apple, but Apple Ads.
Yeah. But they have search ads for now, right?
I think it's app install ads, but I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know how far would it go. Would it be only for if you have an app, or would it be everything or nothing? That's I don't know.
Okay. But are you facing the bad results lately with this iOS 14 change? Yeah. Everybody?
Yeah.
The biggest, I think that the biggest problem. I mean, it is not the biggest problem. Everything is the big problem, but one of the biggest problem is actually not seeing what is happening, at least for me. Or thousands of times I turn off some ad set. After a couple of days, I see return on ad spend very high, and I was like, what I did, but there is a huge delay in the reporting, and that is additional problem that I can really see.
Yeah, sometimes I use third party just to know where the sale come from. If it was my own ad, I would try to attach the name of the ad to the email, because even before past 28 days, Facebook will report nothing. And some people might buy a product 3 months later, and you want to have this type of analytic. But what I found, Facebook does something sneaky. I copied an ad that in Mars did extremely well. I copied the exact copy. The CTR was twice lower, and the CPM 50% more expensive. So that's like Facebook saying, the sandwich size is twice as small, but you pay 50% more. They have a monopoly, so they could do it. And the only thing I found that it worked is forgetting about Facebook and trying to improve everything outside of Facebook. So you might have a landing page converting to 2% in sales. If you improve it by 1%, now it's 3%. If you improve your email follow-up, if you improve what you do at other channel, suddenly it might work. But if you just stay at Facebook, say, I need to improve Facebook, you have zero. I mean, it's not like I could go to Mark Zuckerberg and say, I'm your biggest client, improve the result, or I'm going to take my business elsewhere. You say, I'm worth 80 billion, go to hell, right? So I could only improve everything outside of Facebook. That's the only thing I found to work, actually.
But yeah, if we are honest, that is how things should be, You can find out still now a lot of websites and shops that they do not have like basic email automatization, like in checkout, abandoned checkout, or post-purchase email, or fundamental, So yeah, maybe that will be a good. I mean, this situation is a good motivation for those, marketers to start doing those things.
I think one of the clients that are still doing well, I got her to improve her webinar, nothing to do with Facebook. And most people learn to do webinar in a certain way that is just bleed the problem, just tell people you're a loser. And hey, here is 20 testimonials and your life would be better. And people say, I watched your webinar for 1 hour, I learned nothing. And I'm like, if people listen to your webinar and they say, I learned a few things, if you make it 90% teaching, 10% pitching, you might get better results. And she needs less people to join the webinar now to get a sale, which means, yes, Facebook became like 3 times more expensive, but her webinar now converts 4 times better.
Exactly.
Which means she still survived, right? Yeah, it's the only thing. It's the only thing you could do. I mean, you could improve the structure of your webinar to give value, but you cannot beat up Facebook.
Yeah, if we are paying more for like, let's say, driving people on our landing page, and we cannot do anything about it, let's then make sure that landing page is good, or website.
What is everyone's prediction for Facebook with iOS 13, Apple, and so on?
I mean, if we look iOS 15 update, where the email open rates should go out as well, and if Android followed this Apple move, I really think that the how they say the whole picture of digital marketing will change, because one of the main difference between traditional marketing and digital is ability to see, hey, we have that amount of add to carts, that amount of purchases, we are paying that amount of money for all of that. Those people saw this ad, which we don't have if we are put some banner outside, so if we lose the tracking, we will lose the heart of digital marketing. And basically, what then? I mean, Facebook is still the cheapest media for advertising, but what it can become is that big players can use that space for, like, instead of paying television, I will pay for video views. I don't need purchases or whatever. I will use this media platform for, like, distributing my content.
I heard some big brand advertiser going back to TV advertisement with Facebook becoming more expensive.
Probably,
Interesting.
I mean, TV advertisement is obviously it is working, you know. I know that we digital marketers we are not, you know, agreeing with that, but it is
Here
working.
is something interesting. A few years ago, I used to say LinkedIn is extremely expensive ad-wise, but their targeting is top-notch. But Facebook make up for it by having a CPM that is 10 times cheaper. Now, in some business-to-business niches, I see a CPM on Facebook very similar to LinkedIn. And I'm like, you might as well just go on LinkedIn because the quality of the targeting is better. Because when it comes to job title and you want to target somebody who's, I mean, you go to Facebook and you say, I want to target people who happen to work at Microsoft, live in California, who are the CEO, and there is 3,000 of them. What company like Microsoft that have 3,000 chief executive officer? And people either don't put their job title on Facebook or they put fake things. Well, on LinkedIn, you have like the job title, the size of the company, how many years they've been working there, are a senior or junior. And in some cases, I'm like, LinkedIn is really not that bad compared to Facebook.
If the lifetime value of the customer is high, then it's more than profitable.
Yeah.
I mean, people will not advertise if it is not, you know.
Yeah. We have 10 minutes to kill, and I'm running out of questions. Anybody in the audience that want to ask questions? Or would come and I hunt you in your dream?
No questions. It seems like we are covering everything they wanted to ask.
I don't know. Let's cat or dogs? Oh, I see one question here. Importance of ethical practice and explainability in the use of artificial intelligence and ML. I have no idea what ML stands for. I know if you want to take that question till we know what ML stands for.
I don't know what ML is either, but I would say if we're thinking about the ethical practices of Facebook or other social media companies, I think what we've said so far is they can be fairly dubious. And I do think when you're thinking about your online presence or your marketing campaigns, part of the job that I do is work on brand safety and suitability and integrity for a lot of our brands. So starting with, you know, what is your brand or your own personal set of what's your integrity, right? Like what defines you and your ethical practices, whether this is a brand, it's you, it's an organization that you work with. And I would say it's important to apply that to where you are investing if you can, as much as possible. And as far as it comes to explainability and use of AI, I think a lot of people still find it really clunky. I think we're more fortunate that a lot of social media platforms are adopting like a lens capability or a camera where people are getting more used to kind of that AI, like, you know, seeing different things in your home. And things like that. So I do think it's one of those things where it's just going to take time for people to kind of get used to it. And I don't know if I would take the time as a marketer to be explaining AI to folks or how something works necessarily. I think we're relying on like the culture at large for people to understand AI. But if you felt like it was really important to your campaign or to a product you were selling, it could be good to have like a FAQ, like a frequently asked questions available for people so they could actually use the product you've created in a way that it's meant to be used. If you feel like that's really important, but hopefully with the kind of proliferation of some of that technology, it's pretty straightforward for people.
Yeah. I look at the question two ways. It's how ethical is AI if Facebook uses it? But here, what can I do? Facebook doesn't belong. I wouldn't be in front of a laptop if I had a billion. So I don't talk on behalf of Facebook. AI in terms of marketing and ads, I don't believe in them that much because everyone want to automate to a maximum that we forget we're talking to another human. And sometimes your best insight is to have coffee with your customer, even if it's a virtual coffee, and get to know what they have in their head. And everyone is thinking AI is going. There is a lot of things artificial intelligence cannot do. I mean, I used to work in artificial intelligence because I have a degree in applied mathematics. It's good at deciding that Air France need to land at the airport at 8 a.m. and that another airplane need to leave 20 minutes later in terms of resources. But in terms of speaking to another human, which is what marketing is, I'm not a big fan of automation. And a lot of people start with automation because they're afraid to properly do marketing. That would be my thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
When it comes to my answer and the question of how ethical is everything of this, so I think about three different elements. So first, I would like to say about how ethical that advertisement is. For example, itself how ethical is. So you're trying to find a good shoes, so you're spending a lot of time on finding good shoes, visiting physical stores to physical stores with this kind of advertising. So you went to 3 to 4 websites. You come to your Facebook after 1 day and you got like 5 ads sending you, hey, we have a perfect shoes for you because we know who you are and we are giving you the 10% of discount. It saves your time on search. It gives you a discount. So that is one thing. Next thing is so it is when we look only the advertisement and everything. The next thing is about us marketers. If I'm putting the content, as you mentioned, Sarah, good content, quality content that will help my audience, then I don't know what if I will learn someone how to open this bottle and save his time, of that and money for spending on course, I think that there is no doubt if that is ethical or not. The only difference is what kind of content we are putting out there as a marketers and advertisers. Yeah. And the last
ML is machine learning.
Machine learning. Yeah.
I mean, I have some thought now because I'll let you start, Madeline, and then I'll finish.
Oh, well, and I was also thinking AR and not AI previously, but I guess what I was also going to build on the ethical practices piece is that, Facebook does put out a community standards enforcement report now, I think monthly, but it might still be quarterly. And again, that's them grading their own homework, right? So like there's not a third party yet like evaluating these metrics, but that is kind of a source that you can use when you're evaluating the ethical standards of Facebook. That also exists for other social media partners. So it's something that's publicly available. You can Google it, that kind of a thing. And then as far as like the ethical, what's ethical about machine learning and AI, I don't think that the information is publicly available at all, how algorithms truly work. So I do say, like when Sarah was saying that she doesn't use or tries to stay away from AI as much as possible, like that sometimes has to be an individual decision if you don't trust what is actually happening to optimize your ads.
I mean, machine learning, there is a lot of fan pages that say, most people cannot solve this math equation. Are you not a loser who cannot? And you get like 1 million comments. Or some people say, the movie you appeared in is the last thing you ate and the color of your shirt. Someone say, I ate a pizza, a friend, and I say, was it with pineapple? Just teasing them. And now I look at my targeting, I'm targeting by an author, I have no idea who they are. You see? So that's part of the machine learning because ethical. Everyone is saying, oh my God, targeting is laser targeting. If you show the ad to 2,000 people, 2,000 of them are your ideal client who will beg and dream about your product, which is not true. So sometimes explainability, us as a marketer, we tend to exaggerate the power of social media because we need clients. So next question, and then I think we have like 5 minutes, or let's say 10 minutes, because the people before us were late. How do you increase engagement rate by promoting the best content? And way to identify the bad choice of social media channel while target my customer. Who want to answer this question?
I will start. So promoting the best content, I have one method. So put out there on your social media, for example, put out there on Instagram. And I mean, how to choose what content you should use for like, let's say, post engagement campaigns. You go to the analytics, you see which of those gave the best results in terms of comments, likes, and whatever. So that is a good sign that user liked your comment. You use it like your content because they like it. Naturally, algorithm gave the bigger reach, and that is a good sign. So you're basically boosting the content that both algorithm and users love, and that will give you the low CPM and high engagement. And when it comes to identifying the best choice of social media channel, I mean, you can see based on your results. If your ads are making your money on results, then that is good. But there is some kind of not written rules. You will not have advertisement for T-shirts on LinkedIn or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's always about the data. So that was a perfect answer. And then kind of what you're getting at the end of that is like making sure you're selecting the right social media channel for your message. So if you are selling shirts, like Facebook's a great place for that because people are selling all the time on Facebook. But if you're promoting a webinar, like Sarah was talking about earlier, maybe that's more appropriate for LinkedIn if it's targeting an audience, within trying to learn more about a certain profession. So thinking about what people do, and you yourself are a consumer of all of these social media platforms. So it doesn't take a ton of research to know exactly what people are doing on every platform. And a good way to reach your audience is to start kind of with what the behavior is.
I think people are obsessed about engagement. Let's say I go in Italy and I say Italian grandmother make the best food in the world. Everyone will be engaged and will be applauding. But nobody would say, Sarah, I want to hire you as a Facebook ad specialist. And I think people go for engagement for the sake of engagement. You cannot take engagement and put it in the bank account. I think relevancy is more important because he said sharing the best content, not my best content. I had a blog post that made it to the top 45 marketing article in 2019. It was by picking a fight. Everyone said Facebook ad copy need to be short. I went to Copy Hacker. Who they wrote, they say it's only the image. The copy doesn't matter. And I was like, I disagree with you, and I have the number to prove it, and I have the study. And if I said choose a good image, nobody would have cared. Say, so what? There's 500 other people who say the same thing. But somebody saying long ad copy, if well done, could work really well. I have even active campaign linked to my blog post. I have Podio that linked to my blog post, and so on. It was by picking a fight again. Something that made me not angry, but thinking, oh my God, how dare they say that?
Exactly.
This channel, you have Tinder, you have Grindr, always good for promoting your business. I think it depends on your business. Does your audiences go there? But depend on the content you produce. TikTok is great, but I don't feel like going on video every day. I'm in Belgium, I'm sweaty. Do you think I'm going to go dancing every day? I couldn't care about. Well, LinkedIn is more written content, so it depends more on your talent.
And I have a good example. So we tried Snapchat ads, for example, and what we got is only, we got sales obviously, but not as much as we got from Facebook. So people were clicking, but not buying. And really, it seems like people are not used on that to buy through Snapchat ads, but on Facebook that is, you know, normal thing to do.